Is Harley-Davidson going all electric? Let's talk about that. Let's get cracking. I'm a bit confused, actually. On April 2023, Morgan Stanley Investments, they're an investment broker, and they're in bed with Harley-Davidson. And on Morgan Stanley's YouTube channel, they posted a pretty much a branding of Harley-Davidson and an interview with Johann Zeiss. The gentleman hosting the interview is Adam Jonas, head of Global and Auto Shared Mobility Research with Morgan Stanley. So why is Morgan Stanley hosting a Harley-Davidson-based video on their YouTube channel? Well, that's real easy because Morgan Stanley handles their stock options and they have a vested interest in seeing the company succeed. They recently set up stock options for the factory assembly line plant workers. That isn't helping out too many people over at the York plant right now, as they just shut down the third shift of the assembly plant and are weaning back the others, tapering back bike manufacturing at this very moment. I have a link to Morgan Stanley's video in every article that I refer to in this down below, but we're going to skip forward to 9 minutes 45 seconds where he talks about the LiveWire and addresses it.
We can't talk about sustainability without talking about LiveWire, your electric motorcycle division, which you spun off late last year. Why does LiveWire have a better chance of being independent than part of the Harley mothership?
I didn't want it to be an afterthought, right? I mean, again, when you focus your business on your core and then you are also doing electric, that would not have worked, in my opinion. And the reality is that the electric motorcycle technology is not at a place where you could actually electrify big bikes.
In that clip I just showed you, and I quote, "The reality is the electric motorcycle technology is not a place where you can actually electrify big bikes." This is why I'm confused. When he came on board and he was pushing the LiveWire and all the electric bicycles, he was very much pro-green, and here he is when this video was posted back in April of 2023, he's stating that they're not at a point where they can electrify the great big bikes. So technology isn't there yet, so why? He had to have known this when he made the statement when he took the job with Harley-Davidson. He states that it was spun off late last year, the interviewer that is, basically dumped it off the Harley-Davidson branding marquee and asked Johann about it. Johann Zeiss resigned as CEO of LiveWire as well in recent months, and they have hired somebody else, which kind of gave me the feeling he was jumping ship before the ship was going to sink. I did our first quarter reports, and basically the LiveWire is on target to lose $125 million in 2023. Next up, this dates back to January 20th, 2023, right after the first of the year. Hagerty, and I don't know if you're familiar with Hagerty. Hagerty is an American automotive lifestyle and membership company and the world's largest specialty insurance for classic vehicles. They're based out of Michigan, also operates in Canada, Germany, and the UK. I used to have a 67 El Camino, and I insured it through Hagerty. They will handle your rare, odd items that your normal insurance, Allstate, Nationwide, Progressive aren't going to be able to handle. If you had a 1947 Indian Chief like my dad's, Hagerty is where you would go to insure it. They put out a news report called the Hagerty News. Their Hagerty News, they have a section in it called the Manifold, which ties into their car background. And like I said, on January 20th, 2023, their intake on this article quotes an interview with Johann Zeiss on January 13th, 2023, becoming an all-electric natural evolution. Link to that one right down below. The article from Hagerty states, CEO declares Harley-Davidson on track to be an all-electric brand, quote unquote. Intake. In an interview with dezeen, Harley-Davidson CEO Johann Zeiss didn't mince words. He laid out the American brand is on a defined long-term plan to phase out internal combustion engines from its lineup in lieu of electric motors. While criticism is likely to come hard and fast, Zeiss looks at Harley-Davidson's history as an inspiration for the move. If you look at the past 120 years, the company has always evolved, never stood still, he said in the interview. Now, like the founders did at a time trying to reinvent or invent something unique. That's obviously something that we as a company brand need to do as well. All signs point to this shift taking a decade or more. But Zeiss says that it's doable if the company focuses on targeting more than just its core customer. Now, on the exhaust side, where this is Hagerty kind of responding to what they just heard on this interview. This move is initially confusing to everyone and only gets more puzzling for those of us in the know. Harley-Davidson developed and produced an electric motorcycle, the Livewire, in 2018, only to spin it off on its own brand. Was the customer base not ready yet, or has something significant in the boardroom changed in the last year since the Livewire went public via SPAC acquisition? We don't have an answer right now, but Harley-Davidson is clearly looking to court new buyers and demographics. We expect this announcement to alienate some of the brand's core buyers, though. From Kyle Smith from Hagerty. So this article was actually quoting a interview by dezeen, a link to that right down below as well. And Johann Zeiss is quoted in this particular interview, at some point in time, Harley-Davidson will be all electric, quote unquote. He told dezeen. But that's a long-term transition that needs to happen. It's not something you do overnight. So I'm getting conflicting signals here within the first half of the year of 2023. In January, he's quoted as going all electric. And then in April, he's quoted as he stepped down from Livewire as the CEO, debranded it late 2022 from Harley-Davidson and made it a standalone. People need to understand 90% of Livewire is owned by Harley-Davidson. All my life, I have been groomed to lead people in a position of employment. The qualities and virtues which go into what I was groomed to be a leader, do you feel Johann Zeiss possesses these qualities to lead? We're getting mixed signals here, and I don't have confidence in the direction of leadership and the board of directors at Harley-Davidson. Quite frankly, does Johann Zeiss even ride a Harley-Davidson? Let me know what you think down below. What do you think of Johann Zeiss and the direction Harley-Davidson's going down below? I'm Eric, and you're watching Kraken's Garage. Peace.